Well, we'll hope that they will also speak up on that and address it. But let's pick up on, let me see if I can pick up on two things that your party did, which many also think the APC is doing right now. About the position of the Minister of Petroleum Resources. At that time, former presidents Obasanjo and Jonathan, they assumed that responsibility. And now, it looks as if the president has also said, look, he will assume that responsibility. Could you tell us, what is the thinking behind that kind of decision?
Jonathan assumed that responsibility.
Before
President Obasanjo.
President Jonathan assumed that responsibility.
Before this one eventually
are you sure about it?
We clearly remember
President Obasanjo.
Yes. So what do you want to know about?
What is the thinking behind? Because now the president is also going to act in that capacity.
I don't know the thinking behind the actions of Mr. President. Well, I can say whether it's
let me situate it properly, because both presidents at different times have been military leaders, and the first one, who was a military leader coming in as a civilian president, also was in charge of that particular ministry. Now we're having President Muhammadu Buhari, who was also a general.
See, like I will not so much be bothered about who heads the
petroleum ministry,
whether the president is keeping it for himself or not. Rather, I'm bothered about the associates, aides of Mr. President interfering with the process of licenses and the process of award of contracts, in the process of bidding for jobs in that particular ministry and other parastatals that we have in this country. Because the fact that there are absence of ministers, we have seen aides and associates of this present president wielding undue influence and intimidating
already
the public servants into making certain award of jobs and licenses. You know that when we were in government, one of the achievements of the PDP was that we encouraged private participation in indigenous participation in the oil industry. A lot of Nigerians made a lot of money.
Through the local content.
We agree that there is no policy that is not abused. Maybe it was abused a bit, but a lot of Nigerians, employed others. There were a lot of employment that raised with that, a lot of capital input and output and outlay went into that. But right now, this government has come into place, and they've chosen only 4 people to do what a lot of people were doing. What is the criteria? And most of those 4 people were actually 4 companies, and about 3 of them are foreign companies. So in choosing that, or in trying to do that, the undue influence that is being put on the system by the associates of Mr. President is totally against the preaching of anti-corruption. That this government is seriously dishing out. Because I don't want to call it a propaganda. I'll just say that they are preaching anti-corruption. Are they practicing anti-corruption? That's a different thing.
Now
you have seen the list of that ministers. When you see that list of ministers, do you think this government is practicing anti-corruption? I mean, we have elections coming out.
You don't think so?
Excuse me, I don't think so. We have elections that are coming up in 2 states, in Bayelsa, in Kogi State. We have candidates that were brought out. What did APC do? APC brought out candidates who have problems or who have issues with the EFCC.
We do not
excuse me. So they brought out candidates. Excuse me.
Let's switch back to the list.
Chamberlain, I'm not asking them to.
No, I get your point.
I'm not making any accusation. I'm reminding you that the EFCC brought out issues to do with these individuals, and they raised charges against them, and they took them to court.
But the elected
are they in court?
Are
they in court? No decision yet. No decision yet. No decision yet. So if they're being accused like that, and APC that is accusing PDP of corrupt practices, and they're coming with an anti-corruption mantra, and they bring out candidates who have questionable, I don't want to say questionable characters, I say who still have cases EFCC, and then bring up ministers who you cannot say that in their appearance or from their track record are very honest.
Let's switch back to this because we don't have them to
basis of this anti-corruption.
We don't have them to do
no, the issue. Let me ask you.
Principle. So let me bring you back.
I want to bring you to our thoughts. Is anti-corruption a program to hoodwink Nigerians or to return PDP?
Long distance before we wrap up. Looking back now, because I did ask about those positions, the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Looking back to how the former President Obasanjo handled it, would you say it was a good decision to assume that responsibility as the president?
I'm not going to make comments on things that we have no control of, or things that we cannot have any control of. Mr. President decides that he will handle the petroleum ministry. When he assumes it, we'll check his own record. We'll check. But I can make one promise to you. If he decides to engage in practices that are not very honest, we will inform Nigerians about it. We will expose it.
So you can't
the PDP has a wide network.
Was it a good thing at that time or not?
If it was so good, we would have continued it.
Okay. Second,
if it was so good, we would have continued it.
Would it be a good idea to attach portfolios to the names of the ministers before submitting them to the Senate?
At the discretion of the president. We have no problem with that. At the discretion of the president.
I'm just wondering, though, this has nothing to do with ministerial list. Your party recently came out to say that it has zoned 2019 presidency to the north. Do you have a reason for that?
Yes.
What's the reason?
But we don't necessarily discuss matters that have to do with the administration of the party in public. But the PDP, in terms of zoning, you do know that we believe in the zoning system. We introduced it into the body politic, and we've been practicing it in the past, maybe because of the democratic right of the then president to run for a second tenure, which is fundamental right. We could not implement a zoning policy, but then we lost an election, and we do not have an incumbent president who has that right. So we have to go back to our zoning policy.
Some people say
normally it has to be the North that is the next to take a shot.
It's been a bait. It's not a bait.
Where are we baiting?
I don't know. Just asking.
No. We are sincere about it, and it's going to the North. And it's only fair and just that it should go to the North. If you look at it, we've had 4 presidential candidates. 3 of them have come from the South. Or 3 times we fielded people from the South. Let me say 3 times we fielded people from the South. 1999, 2003, 2011. In fact, 4 times. Only once have we fielded someone from the North.
How is it done? Is it North and South? Wouldn't have a West and East?
Yeah, we have North and South first. And within the North and South, then you can have the Northeast, Southeast, Northeast, North Central, and Northwest. But first,
I'm looking towards Nigeria's eastern region or southeast.
Yes.
No political party is ever considering that?
Well, you will still say no political party. You mean, I can only speak for the PDP.
Let's speak for the PDP now. The PDP,
when it comes down to the South,
PDP should break the jigs and look towards the Southeast.
When is the turn of the South next time? It is the Southeast people that should agitate for it. When is the turn of the South? Right now, it is not the turn of the South. We have given it to the North.
Also, is it a bad thing as a politician to compensate those who work with you to let you win elections?
As long as you do it within their competence and their capability and their integrity, where they have core competency, yeah, you should, because they worked hard and they believe in your agenda, they believe in your manifesto, your ideology, and they will implement that with you. There is nothing wrong with it, but there is something wrong when you unduly give out an expectation that you're looking for very honest people, and you're looking for people who will help you to change the system, and you go back and you bring regular list of regular people that cannot meet up to the definition that you give out to them.
You know, very quickly, very quickly, this is also on the list, but it tilts towards the PDP more. Perhaps tell us the new style of democracy that the PDP is practicing. When you speak now, we understand we see a different kind of PDP and a different kind of politics. And you put that side by side with what is coming from Ekiti State. The governor of Ekiti State, a PDP governor, is giving a huge support to the candidacy of an APC nominee in the person of Dr. Kayode Fayemi. What style is the PDP bringing to the table of politics in the country?
Well, the style that we're bringing is actually constructive opposition, because the essence is not about winning, it's about serving the people. We want to serve the Nigerian people. That's why we're in politics. That's why someone would leave his family, leave his own personal business, and get into politics. It's not about acquisition of wealth. It's about serving the people. So we don't necessarily have to win, but we need to offer service. And it's doing that, we must do that within the confines of decency. When we were in government, the then opposition party engaged in certain things that we believed to us were indecent and not good for the progress of our country or for the unity of our country. Any bomb blast, anytime we had any attack, any activity, something to do with security, we had a lot of condemnations on the government, and there was a separation of the President Jonathan, differentiating President Jonathan with Nigerians. So our enemies, the insurgents, did not see the unity amongst our people, and for them, they were emboldened to continue with the attack, because what they were doing was dividing us along ethnic lines, along religious lines, and the then opposition party, they were promoting it. Now we're in opposition. We have decided that we will not adopt the same tactics. We have not abused Mr. President. We do not abuse his office. We do not abuse himself. We limit ourselves on issues, providing alternatives and options to his policies and programs, although we haven't seen the policies and programs. But, I mean, when you look at it, we are adopting constructive opposition. We are only dealing with issues.
All right.
We want our enemies, we want people who seek to divide us to know that we're united. Even as an opposition party, we are completely behind Mr. President in terms of his whatever rules and whatever step that he takes on the issue of security. We will support him fully.
We want to thank you very much indeed for coming on. Our Chief Olisah Metuh is the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Well, that's the show today. We thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll also be reporting from here as well. So thank you very much. I'm Chamberlain Osal.
Well, thank you, Maokwe Ogun.
Many thanks. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Goodbye.
See you again.
That was too short.